बॉम्बे प्रेस में आपका स्वागत है। हम आए थे मुंबई प्रेस क्लब में, जहां यहाँ पर मौजूद थे संजय पांडे साहब, जो कि मुंबई पुलिस कमिश्नर हैं। आज मुंबई प्रेस क्लब टीम ने एक मीटिंग रखा था, जो कि मुंबई प्रेस क्लब में मीटिंग हुई और ऐसे कई सवालात उठे, जैसे कि अनऑथोराइज बिल्डिंग है, ड्रग्स के मामलात है और फुटपाथ पे जो लोग नहीं चल पाते उसको लेकर कहीं ऐसे सवालात उठे। संजय पांडे साहब का कहना था कि इन सभी जो सवालात जो उठाए गए हैं उसके बहुत जल्दी हम रिज़ल्ट देने की कोशिश करेंगे। अभी देखना यह है कि मुंबई पुलिस कमिश्नर संजय पांडे जी जो है वो कब इसके जो है रास्ते बनाते हैं और कब लोगों को जो है राहत मिलती है। अभी देखना तो यही बाकी है। मुंबई पेरिस के साथ में अमजद पठान।
Goes with all the jostling and everything that we've seen, I don't want to take much more time because it's best that Mr. Sanjay Pandey himself tells us what's going on, what's in the pipeline. But a few points, one can see that in a very short while, soon after his appointment, many things started rolling. Something which was, I had complained to him many months ago when he was DGP, and unfortunately we couldn't get it done. That time the local police station in fact cooperated, was the question of noise pollution. Wherever we live, there are construction sites going on. At the same time, the old residents have children there who study, who are preparing for their exams, who wants to get, and people who work hard during the day and want to get a good night's rest. They can't, because construction work goes on 24/7, including Sundays. And there is a law that after 10 p.m. there should be no noise pollution. It's not been implemented. So here we go. He's instructed police stations to implement the law and see that between 10 and 7 or 10 and 6, construction work is stopped. Again, towing of vehicles was a huge racket and all of us have suffered that. Here again, that has been put a stop to. Passport, again an area which all of us have a kind of problem with. Whenever you are getting a passport, it is a harassment. You have to go to the police station. Even though the passport department has become very proactive, very efficient, but at the level of the police station, it takes time. People have to go with their documents, etc. Now, unless it's very disputed or there's a problem, only then you have to go. The whole process of lining up and meeting the Havaldar there, etc., all has been done away with. So these are some of the things done. At the same time, you know, it'll be nice if Sanjay ji also tells us a little bit about the other issues which are there. The issues, the jostling that is happening. For instance, there is an issue about wiretapping a lot of people, a lot of activists. I know our own vice chairman, Samar Khadas, his phone was wiretapped, and it was also announced in the assembly. Now, you know, I mean, ultimately, yes, civic areas, policing areas have to be done, but where people at senior levels have crossed the Lakshman Rekha and have harassed not only citizens but other senior officers and those people who are themselves trying to keep to the law. These are also many of the issues that have come up. And I hope with this small introduction, I'm sure Sanjay ji has lots to tell us. I won't keep you all between him and you. And I'd request him to give a small presentation, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Somebody was asking that should we have a proper presentation, PowerPoint and all that. I said he's not going to do that. Everything is on the tip of his tongue. So I'd request our police commissioner to make a small presentation and then we can open up the house for questions and discussion. Thank you, and I'll hand over the mic to Sanjay.
Thanks, Gurbir. Thanks for calling me here. As Gurbir said, this is not new to me. I mean, I have been to press club just the other day. I was on the Marathi side of the club, and I see many of the friends who I've known for a very long time. I see Anil Singh sitting here. He has been with me from 1992. So I see another Ronnie here, again very old acquaintance. So as you said, Gurveer, certainly this is not new to me, and I've been here many a times. Yes, you asked me about to make a presentation. I would have done a PowerPoint as well, but then I thought, let me talk to you in a slightly informal manner, and then probably take some of your informal questions as well. There has been a grievance that I haven't met the press. I think there cannot be anything better than this. I came to your club, not in my club, in the police headquarters. So I think you should excuse me for having avoided a press conference. One of the reasons was that having been in Bombay City for last about 30 plus years, I wasn't really close to what Bombay City really requires. So I needed some time to gather, to know what the problems are. When I was there were problems of communal riots, there were problems in economic offences, which I have dealt with, narcotics as well, which I have dealt with. But then I think the contours have changed, the parameters are different, and I think the people's expectations have changed. So lo and behold, what I did was really to get the information. People said, very novel, very great, but I thought that was very, very plebeian and very, very mundane. That if you wanted information from the citizens, the only way you could get it was directly through my number. And that's the number I shared. That was the first thing which I did. Many people said, actually, well, this is, why should you do that? When I said, there's no other way. Because to get unfiltered information, that's the only way I could do. And to tell you, when I was a DG, at that time also I had shared my information with my constables and with my men, and they could reach me anytime. So when I was a DG of police, my constituency was mostly administration, mostly the policemen for whom I was supposed to administer. And today, having accepted this responsibility, I would still say accepted this responsibility. Who is my constituency? For whom am I working here? It is certainly the citizens. So the citizens should know, and should know my number, should be able to approach me, should be able to reach me, write to me. So that's why all the three social media that I'm aware of, one is the WhatsApp, the second is the Twitter, and the third is the Facebook. All of that is with you, and all of that I shared. And I believe that most of you can interact, would interact, and will be looking at sending me feedback, sending me your suggestions. And I think most of them I reply. Somebody asked me, oh, who is the one who is handling your social media? Well, in my case, if you are going to Sanjay P_1, and if you're going to my Facebook profile, and if you're looking at the WhatsApp and sending me the WhatsApp, it's me. There's nobody else. It's me. My phone is not shared with anybody else. And I am able to handle most of it. Some of it I may not be, but then... So I'm telling you, when I shared the number, the story goes like this. When I shared the number, I was surprised that people will be talking about huge crime, people will be talking about huge gangsterism. Sorry, this was not the voice. The voice was what you're hearing right now. This noise, which is a huge problem in Mumbai City. There are kids who cannot sleep. There are seniors who cannot really have any kind of rest. And so I hope I'll be able to talk with the background noise right now going on the construction site. So my first initiative, certainly along with this, was on the noise. And the noise could have happened only with construction. With the construction, I called the MCHI and the CRIDI. I must say, they were very, very helpful. What I said was that you should make the citizens aware. Right now, I was in the office, a builder from Matunga, not the builder, but the manager was brought to me from Entop Hill. And I told him that at 1 o'clock you were constructing. And that's how I have called you here. And we have charged them. We have put sections of Bombay Police Act against them. But I am telling you through your medium today, that it's not just the Bombay Police Act that we are looking at. If we have a few more such charges against the builder, we are talking about good behavior. And that good behavior means there's a section in the CRPC, the Criminal Procedure Code, which says that you got to deal with a bond, and you have to furnish a bond that you will not do this again, and that could run into several lakhs of rupees, and that could run into several years. So in case you break the bond, you probably will be behind bars or will not pay up that much money. So that's the newer part, which probably I'm not threatening anybody, but I'm saying if you have been given a time, if you have given a decibel level, the decibel level is, for your knowledge, 65 decibels for the builders, and so you please obey those rules. We will be fine with you, no problems. And then we have said that by 31st of March, you have to put sound cutters. There's not something wrong. I mean, I've said put those sound cutters because that will reduce the sound and will reduce the charge. Will reduce your situation of getting a 107 CRPC notice to you, which will probably put you in a much bigger problem. So that's what is my message to them. I am saying, I'm again repeating, they are all cooperating. They are putting up the sound cutters. We have said they put up a notice board that this is the timing, this is the decibel level that you will adhere to. They have done so. One issue remains that I believe that as a citizen of the city, that we should have silent Sundays. And silent Sundays is something that I'm working on. I don't think I'm the only agency. There are other agencies who can decide about the timing. But we are looking at our laws, whether we can restrict this ourselves, unilaterally. I haven't come to a decision yet, but this is in the offing, that if we could do it, if I as an executive magistrate can give those directions, I am evaluating. We will do that so that the citizens of Bombay have a silent Sunday. So this is something on the noise part. We are looking at other thing which I really did almost immediately that I came was to stop the towing. I had a serious backlash from where. People said no, towing is something which is required. There are people who got Magsaysay awards for towing. But I said Magsaysay award can be won for towing, but then the city should have those many parking places, those many drivable roads, those many motorable situations where you could probably tow. Even if I tow, where do I keep them? I'm telling you, the biggest problem today is that I'm facing citizens saying that, look boss, you towed them and put them next to my society, which happens to be a BMC land. So what happens now? There are mosquitoes around, then there are various kind of miscreants who are misusing the place. So that's the challenge. So if this was true, we said there's no question. Till the city comes up, there is a parking authority which is under works. There is a parking authority which is looking at trying to give parking places. When that happens, we could probably have the towing. Initially I suspended, now I think it's almost coming to a permanency that till the time we get these facilities, we will not. I mean, I'm a personal victim of this, or maybe I have experienced it myself. Many a times my own personal vehicles have been towed. It was very difficult to get them back. Get them back in the sense you can get them back by various kind of calling, them finding out earlier the numbers were written. So that's the first thing that I did. And I think the citizens have come back and told me that it works. The other thing that we did was that we said the policing job should be left to the police. And I'm saying this with full open heart. Yes, citizens, civil society wants to contribute. You can contribute, but do not work as a policeman. Do not try to take over the role and try to imitate a police uniform. And that was what was happening in Mumbai city. There were a group of people who were called wardens, and they were wearing very close to police uniforms. And we were getting a bad name for their misbehavior. I'm not discounting the other side totally, but I'm saying that this was certainly somebody whom I was not on my payroll, was not on my contractual arrangement, and was still working as a policeman. So those were stopped. There somewhere they still have the enthusiasm to stay back. We'll welcome such enthusiasm. These wardens, for your information, were given by construction people. They were in the contract told to manage the traffic in close to their construction sites. We have said you can keep these wardens. I don't want these poor fellows to lose their livelihood. But you should restrict them to your construction sites. They are not there to manage my regular traffic. They are there only to manage the traffic of those various trucks and whatever the loads which come to your construction site, not on the roads of Bombay where this has nothing to do with your construction. So I think those people have taken it very, very nicely. They have withdrawn. Some places, as I said, enthusiasm still prevails, and you will see the Bombay is pretty huge. From Naugarh to Kolaba, we have to travel quite a distance. So we are looking at that. Now, quite unconnected, which I never dreamt of, is the issue of cooperative societies. We have just had a meeting with cooperative society people. There is extortion both sides. But the extortion is to the extent that I'll cut your electricity, I'll cut your water if you don't pay X amount. Transferring a house, there is a limit to which you can charge. There are lakhs and lakhs of rupees being charged. Just now I had a person come to me from a place like, I think Motunga it was, where some extraordinary amount of money was being charged and being asked. So now those, I say, is still no. But then there's the other side of it. There are tenants, there are members who are not paying maintenance, and then how do these society fellows run their society? Now, honestly, now this is again personal, what I'm trying to do is that I'm going to think and write to make sure that the rights of these members and the rights of the executive committee members are probably pruned, coming to think of how was this made. People thought that the societies, when they run, they need to have an executive committee. This executive committee will look at lift, they will look at water, they will look at electricity. Instead of looking at the water and the electricity, it is how soon can they maintain, how soon they can repair. I mean, I'll relate a very sad story. Hear this. There is a person, I mean, I will not name him. He sent me a message the other day. He might see this. He has lost his job last 3 months. He has worked in Bombay. He's an educated guy. The line he said, "Sir, I have been asked to pay up. They are repairing the lifts." I'm sure this is what he said. They are repairing the lifts. They are going to put a heavy charge on me. Sir, I don't have a job. As an educated person, I am not supposed to beg, but I have no other way. Sir, please help me. So this is the story of Bombay. I mean, people say Mr. Pandey is going and crossing his limits. No, sir. The citizens of Bombay, everybody is affected by traffic, everybody is affected by noise, everybody is affected by these cooperative societies. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But this bad is worse. There is a lady in Oshiwara who complained against my own officer. They have cut her toilet ka pani. They have cut her water. I mean, forget about the electricity. How does the lady survive? So yesterday I consulted a lawyer. He said, what? He said this should be extortion. So we are contemplating that. We are going to register that. But the other side, when the members are really wealthy and they're not paying maintenance, that also we are looking at. That cannot be done. So there is a clause. If the members are not paying, the cooperative society should go and lodge a complaint with the registrar. 100 Cooperative Society Act can issue a notice to them through the registrar. Follow the process. Do not enter his house and start misbehaving, manhandling. That's my message through you. So this is something about cooperative societies. Very close to this, something which you will see very soon, is also the problem of drugs in the city. The drugs menace I have not really talked about because we are putting our house in order. I was trying to find out what all we can do. The problem is not, I say the problem today what has happened is there are compartmentalizations. There is a great agency which only talks about very big seizures. And in our agency also, there was a thinking that a particular wing, which is called narcotics wing, is supposed to only look at quality cases, where the quantity cases are supposed to be the police stations. I said quality and quantity in drugs doesn't matter. Every drug consumption is or drug transaction is a serious matter for the society. So you will see this, you will have more to report, you will have more to witness and evidence very soon about the drugs in the city. It's a huge menace that is really causing a lot of problems. Senior citizens is a no-brainer. I am going to be a senior citizen another 3 months down the line. I would like to make sure that the police cops who are there are supposed to take care of me. They might, because I will be a retired ex-cop, but what about citizens? Nobody looks at them. There were two old people sitting at home, some of them single, some of them husband and wife, their kids not being around. So we said, okay, put a diary, visit them, talk to them once a week at least, what's wrong, and share your numbers. So that's the senior citizen. It's a no-brainer, because all of this has come either from my experience, which is like the towing came from my experience. Senior citizen, I'm marching towards it. Then the others, the citizens, I'm really thankful to them. They've come forward, given us hope, given us information. I mean, most people would have come here and talked about criminal gangs. I would like to end this by saying this. Well, I think the criminal gangs may operate against a few people that they target. They're the few people that they could target. But here, this kind of nonsense, the noise, the traffic, the situation of drugs, it's percolating. I mean, it's too much. And people say it's all organized crime. I had some experience, and I don't see that we cannot break this, we cannot handle this. So that's it. I mean, I think these are very simple initiatives, and I think these are no-brainers that anybody in the city should come forward and take care of. So that's it. Thanks a lot for giving me this platform. And whoever said that I was not addressing the press, I was today in front of the full cameras. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. It's a very interesting presentation. Some new initiatives you've also announced. But what you had told me, that's a very interesting angle. Would you like to speak about it, about the investigations being broadened with the head constable coming in? I think that's a very interesting new initiative that you should mention.
I was only talking about the citizens here. But you see, one major part where the police impinges the citizens is that our constabulary comes into contact with citizens day in and day out. And that was my initiative when I was a DG and then now as a commissioner of police. My belief is that if my constables really, if I can turn around the constables, which is about 35 to 40,000 who are here, that will change the entire system. They, as per the law, are empowered, head constables are empowered to do any kind of investigation. So we have made sure and we have issued orders that simpler crimes like simple hurt, simple theft are taken care of. Criminal intimidation are actually investigated by head constables. Now you see what will happen. These crimes were not being reported. They were not sometimes being overlooked because just by the immensity of this. We have about 2,500 sub-inspectors and about somewhere around 800 odd inspectors. So that makes the figure somewhere around 3,000, 3,500. So now, by head constables coming into picture, the investigation part, I have got 10,000 plus head constables. Now we are now not only doubling, we are at least putting it 5 times the investigating power of Bombay City. So you will see the difference. These head constables have been trained, are being trained. Right now when I'm talking, they're being trained. They will be now looking at you. And what have I done for them? Just by giving them, not only giving them this opportunity, I have made sure, thanks to the government, thanks to this, at least the people who are in the bureaucracy, we have ensured that the constables become and retire as sub-inspectors. So that's a big thing that we've done. We've taken out an entire rank. This happens once in decades, that we're talking about that there will be no police naik. There will be no police naik in the police force. So that means that a person who became a constable will become a police naik, will become a havaldar, will become a ASI. Imagine, in 24 years of service or 30 years of service, he will retire as ASI. Today, in 10 years, he'll become a head constable. In 20 years, he'll become ASI. And 30 years, he'll become PSI. And this has been approved, this has been done. We have already promoted somewhere around 250 ASIs in Bombay City over the last 1 week. So I think they're thinking, the way they look at, and I've given them some targets. If you wanted to hear them, we've got just 4 targets for them. 3 I gave, 1 the citizens gave, and I give full credit to the citizens. One I said that every day, each constable, please try if you can help one person. Help is not monetary. Help is by just making a person sit in the office, sit in the police station, offer him a cup of, maybe not a cup of tea, but a glass of water. That's also helping. Old person crossing a road, try and help. People have done this in Mumbai city. It's not new, but I've sent every constable to each day to one person. And I said that you should, in case you see wrong things happening, a lot of people say gambling, a lot of people say dance birds, all illegal activity. If you are empowered, do that. If you're not empowered, tell your seniors. So that's something which I've done. This is their target. The third thing which I have said is, city is going digital. The businesses have gone digital. The transactions are digital. So try and understand what cyber crime is. And half an hour you devote every day in your day-to-day work. And we are going to train, I myself have some background, we're training them. So you will see our people, cyber-aware constables. Lastly, what the citizen said, Mr. Pandey, one of our photographs was taken in one of those functions which we were promoting. They said, oh, well done, Mr. Pandey. But what about your punches? Maybe I also have some. So he said, so in your 3, you should add one more. And that is 30 minutes of exercise. And I have said that to my constables and my officers, everybody, every day, 30 minutes, put in your effort. You don't have to get a trainer, you don't need a gym. For those kind of trainings, you are on YouTube and stuff. So this is for my constabulary, and I believe they will rise and they will work for the citizens of Bombay. I have been starting to get reports. I haven't shared them with you, but some people will share them with you very soon as to what all my constables are doing. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for the additional inputs. I thought it was a brilliant move. I don't know how it will pan out in actual investigation, where from 2,500 investigation officers, you ramp up to 10,250 or 10,200 extra by adding on the head constabulary also as investigators. Whether they're trained enough or they can do justice to the job, that's probably a larger discussion. But I think it seems to be a very significant initiative on the part of the police commissioner. With these few examples or talking points, I'd like to open it up to the House, and any of our reporters, journalists would like to discuss anything specific or ask questions related to this or anything else. Please go ahead, put up your hand. You put it up first, please. Can you give the mic to?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. I am Bob Rupani, the editor of Overdrive magazine. For 36 years, I've been editing auto magazines, and it's the first time I've come across an officer who talks seriously of road safety. So hats off to that. Yeah? And that's my subject. I've been testing cars, I've raced and rallied, and road safety is something we are working on all the time. I want to just share that I'm a Bombayite. I've lived 57 years here. Even, when I started driving in the 80s, there was a fear of law. Even if the policeman was on the other side of the road and he blew a whistle and waved at you, you'd stop. Today, we've done interviews, we've done stories. Your constable is scared to stand alone on the road and stop someone. They're always in groups, because there have been so many occasions when, constables have got beaten up, people don't stop, they break. And we are now only relying a lot on, the online challans and your CCTV cameras, which also I believe is not effective in stopping people, going wrong side, like you started this whole mission to stop people going on the wrong side, breaking traffic lights. So this is a serious issue, and I would appeal to you on behalf of all Mumbaiites that please clamp down on all these people breaking, traffic laws. Parking is not an issue, but the guys who are going wrong way, speeding, coming through traffic lights without looking left or right, something really needs to be done, and they need to be punished. And I was also told that with this, CCTV camera thing, the challans are just, piling up. People, you have to send people to their homes, the addresses are wrong, telephone numbers are wrong. So, I always believe the boots on the ground, charging the guy right there and taking his license like we did in the old days worked a lot better than it's doing now.
Well, you're just echoing as to what discussion I had and something which I dictated before coming here. I do not know in what manner I should say. I'm a total votary of the fact that the manual challans are better. And manual challans are better because of person right there, you writing it there, you pay up, and that's it. But then somewhere down the line, people talk about corruption and stuff. I do not know how far true or otherwise. But the e-challan is actually done in a with a private public enterprise. And if you want to discuss that, I can show you how it is better for the one part of the public-private enterprise and not for the public at all. So, yeah, well, there are intricacies in that. We have written that we will much rather have our own software, much rather have our own handheld devices.
This had come up in
This had come up in a road safety conference, which I was part of. The transport minister was also there, and like all of us in the corporate world, we work with targets and incentives. I said, why don't you make the policeman? Everyone says, "Jeb mein paise dalta hai ye." I said, why don't you incentivize him? Say, if there is a 1,000 rupee fine, 300 rupees straight away goes into your account. Be honest, charge the fellow, enforce the law. So, I mean, it's time we thought out of the box and said, let the guy make a challan, he'll get 300 rupees. He's not going to take 100 rupees from you and let you go.
We're not talking 300, we're not talking 500, we're talking in thousands here that we are distributing. If you've seen the function just yesterday that we held in the traffic branch, constables and the officers who returned the bag of a lady, and that lady was photographed along with the bag with the return. Everybody is being given 25,000 across the board. We are paying that money from our government money right from the driver to the constable to the inspector. And this money is going to get even bigger because we do have the money to really give it. I mean, there is nothing great that I am doing, but they deserve it. And whenever there is deserving case, it is not 5,000, not 500, 200 or 300. It's going to be thousands. I mean, that's what. Yeah, every challan. We have said that every week, the best division that is headed by inspector has 40 people will be given this kind of money if they have done the best. What are the targets? Targets remove khataras. Targets are remove to make sure wrong side driving, make cases against them. Those are the two basic things that we are looking at. So, yeah, that's it. Excuse me.
Yeah, could you introduce yourself?
कोड भी लिख के भेजा।
I understand,
हाँ,
sir.
तो आपका जवाब मैं दूं?
Sure, sir.
हाँ, सुनना चाहेंगे?
Yes, sir.
तो आपने साइबर क्राइम के बारे में पूछा। अब यहाँ जितने लोग हैं, आप जरा इसको बड़े ध्यान से सुनिए, क्योंकि साइबर क्राइम मेरा अपना डोमेन है। मैं कंप्यूटर साइंस इंजीनियर तो था ही, साथ में सिक्योरिटी भी किया है, तो साइबर क्राइम में अच्छी तरह समझता हूँ। मेरा ये कहना है कि साइबर क्राइम में मूलभूत प्रॉब्लम है, और मूलभूत प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारे यहाँ अभी तक साइबर क्राइम के बारे में कोई एक्ट बनाया नहीं गया है, और ये बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है। साइबर क्राइम बनाने के लिए एक दो चीज़ों की और ज़रूरत है, जिसमें एक तो डेटा प्रोटेक्शन और प्राइवेसी। ये दोनों चीज़ें जब तक नहीं होती हैं, आज आईटी एक्ट में कुछ सेक्शंस ज़रूर हैं जो कि साइबर क्राइम को से डील करते हैं, बट वो साइबर क्राइम को एक तरीके से, एक ऑक्सिलरी तरीके से, भाई कार का इंजन तो है, कार के साइड मिरर लगाना कि नहीं लगाना, उस तरह की बात हो रही है। तो जो मेन चीज़ है वो जो साइबर क्राइम एक्ट है, आज की तारीख में आप देखें तो अमेरिका में 1988 में कंप्यूटर यूज़ एंड डिसअब्यूज़ एक्ट बनाया गया था। यूनाइटेड किंगडम में 1998 में डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट बना था। ये तारीखें उतनी ही सही हैं, मैं अपने मन से मनगढ़ंत नहीं बता रहा हूँ, आप जाके देख लीजिएगा इंटरनेट में। हिंदुस्तान में आज हमारी प्रॉब्लम है कि हमने सन 2000 में आईटी एक्ट बनाया, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट बनाया, किसी ने नहीं कहा साइबर क्राइम एक्ट है। साइबर क्राइम उसमें डिफाइन किया गया, बाद में अमेंडमेंट आया 2008 में, और उसमें नीचे कुछ सेक्शंस बढ़ाए गए, लेकिन वो शायद पूरा नहीं है। तो और उसमें सबसे बड़ी समस्या क्या है, क्यों इतना साइबर क्राइम बढ़ रहा है? साइबर क्राइम बढ़ने की समस्या ये है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो है उसमें इंस्पेक्टर को दिया गया है। आज की तारीख में मुंबई सिटी में 800 इंस्पेक्टर हैं, पूरे महाराष्ट्र में मेरे ख्याल से 3 से 3,500 इंस्पेक्टर हैं, और साइबर क्राइम डाइम अ डजन हो रहा है। मतलब आप जिसे देखें सीरियस, हमारे पास जो सीनियर सिटीजन के कितने फ़ोन आ रहे हैं, कल मैंने इसीलिए कहा कि भाई आप जरा रुकिए, जरा देखिए, समझिए, उसके बाद अपना दुनिया भर का अमेजोन और ये सब काम करिए। तो लेट मी एक्सप्लेन दिस टू यू। मेरा एक्सप्लेनेशन ये है कि जब तक इसमें मूलभूत चेंज नहीं आता, जब तक मैं आज हवलदार को हम मर्डर का इन्वेस्टिगेशन दे सकते, लेकिन साइबर क्राइम में छोटी मोटी चोरी हुई वो हम उसको दे ही नहीं सकते, कायदे से नहीं दे सकते। जब 800 इंस्पेक्टर को 800 मैक्सिमम सबको लगा दूँ तो भी मैं कितने क्राइम इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकता हूँ? ये मेरी सबसे बड़ी समस्या है और इस समस्या का हल ढूंढना बहुत ज़रूरी है। मैंने कई फोरम्स में ये मुद्दा उठाया है कि हमारे पास एक डेडिकेटेड साइबर क्राइम एक्ट होना चाहिए और उसके अंदर ये पावर्स में हमको इस तरह का चेंज नहीं करना चाहिए कि हवलदार को कम आता है और इंस्पेक्टर को ज़्यादा आता है। ये चीज़ें देखिए, मैं इस चीज़ का वोटरी हूँ कि 511 सेक्शन लेके हमारा आईपीसी चलता है। मेरे ख्याल से 511 दिन का जो कोई हवलदार होगा उसको सारे सेक्शन बराबर पता होंगे। तो ये सीखने की बात है, समझने की बात है, इसमें कोई मुश्किल नहीं है। तो ये साइबर क्राइम के बारे में मेरी सूचना है कि इसका एक्ट बने और इसमें हर एक आदमी को इन्वेस्टिगेशन का पावर हो, तब ये साइबर क्राइम के बारे में हम चर्चा कर पाएंगे।
Sir, there is a couple of questions I have. One is a grievance from your police constabulary.
Short.
Yeah. There was a brilliant scheme that was brought in, for free medical insurance for police department in Mumbai, and this was envisaged by AKD Zada, who used to be the Home Secretary in those days, whereby 100 rupees were deducted from every policeman's salary every month, and anybody who fell sick during was covered by it. Worked brilliantly. Now in recent times this was increased to 350 rupees. So this is the genuine grievance, because the original intention of the scheme was that as the years pass there will be so much of accumulated funds in that particular through that collection of the monthly deductions, that after a period of time you would actually reduce it rather than having to increase it. So that's my first thing about why, whether you could take it up with the government and resolve it so that it doesn't keep on getting escalated in terms of monthly deductions from their constables. Secondly, sir, today in Mumbai it's understood that the biggest gunda is the policeman. I mean, there was a time when the underworld and goons and all that happened. Like, just to cite Saturday's instance, a lady got beaten up in a police station in Indoshi. I believe you even suspended the police inspector concerned, but he beat her up, and surprising thing was it was misreported to the media that it was a man who got assaulted. I saw the newspaper articles. It was actually what I mean to say is, there were a lot of encounter specialists and people who became very infamous.
Then you have to keep the question.
So these two things, how do you propose to take ahead?
Actually, for the medical part, I think the Maharashtra has moved on to MPKY, that is the Maharashtra Police Kalyan Yojana, and that's the Yojana in which certain diseases are covered. When I was a DG, I had said that certain more diseases should get covered and make it more broad-based. Now that proposal is with the government, and in that there is a cashless. They don't have to pay anything. There's some contribution which happens, which is a constant contribution, and the government pays most of the money. But this MPK, over a period of time, the problem is that the diseases have increased. Imagine the COVID was not included, so later on we said COVID should be included. Malaria was not included, we said malaria should be included. So those we have asked for changes. Now in my position, I can only say that for Bombay Police, we plan to and we would try to make some amendments to this and request the government. But for entire Maharashtra Police, I cannot make a statement today. So that's for that. The other part which you talked about is an aberration. I don't think everybody in the police is a gunda at all. There are always, if you are among the journalists or if you are in the citizenry, there are always black sheep here. So for one black sheep, we cannot generalize and say that the entire police is probably acting as in a particular manner which is unbecoming of him. Yes, those aberrations, as you yourself rightly said, are being taken care of. We will.
There are two questions, sir. One is, you said you're marching towards your senior citizenship. Does it mean we are going to see a new commissioner very soon? I'm afraid. Why? Because your initiatives require a 5-year plan and you need to be there. That is point number one, to see that it goes on. Point number two is, I think your police force is overworked. Are you looking at cutting down the time of the duty timing of your workforce?
Yeah, your first question about my being timed out, that's something which is not in my control, and I think that happens to every bureaucrat. There is a time till which you work. 60 years is what is defined. After that, certainly the time is up. So I have nothing more to say on that. But that's the statute. That's part of the law. That's part of the process. The second part about the timing of the constables. Well, we made it 8 hours for the ladies. As soon as they came on the 8th of this March was a Women's Day, we issued the order on 7th. So every lady constable who's working with us will get 8 hours. We're working on the idea of giving them 12 hours and 24 hours rest. That we are working on. There are issues about manpower being available. But let me tell you this, just to share with you. I mean, why are my constables required so much so? Why are they overburdened so much so? I still believe that if my enforcement was stronger, you've seen some morchas being taken out. You've seen a lot of issues where protests were there. Haven't you seen them very silent now? So I'm saying that if we enforce it properly, I don't need this much of manpower, honestly. I mean, I will give examples. I have been talking to my traffic people that if I enforce, now if you want to report, they may be political, but I will say this is a fact. You go to Saudi Arabia, you don't see a single constable or traffic constable on the road. Yeah, they have cameras, we also have cameras. But what is the fine? 300 reals, 24 hours jail. That's the enforcement. So, we are not saying we put you in jail, but what I'm saying is in most cases, not only traffic, every case is where enforce my law properly, enforce the given sections properly. I think I have enough manpower. The 40,000, 45,000 force is enough to handle this. We don't need any more. But the manpower part, the timing part, give us a week or two. It will be rationalized.
Sir, Ankur,
Yeah.
what is your... I'm Jnanesh from the Week magazine. What is your biggest concern in terms of crime? Biggest concern.
If you ask me, honestly, the biggest concern is the drugs. The biggest concern is the drugs because the entire generation, I'm not into drugs, you are not into drugs. This generation was taught differently, but the younger generation today, what is the future happening to this city? What is the future happening to the country? Drugs are the major issue to handle. That's my statement. Yeah.
एक हफ्ते पहले एक आइडिया दिया था, ट्विटर के जरिए दिया था, सोशल मीडिया के जरिए कि उन नई कार को तभी रजिस्ट्रेशन दिया जाएगा जब पार्किंग की जो समस्या है या पार्किंग लॉट को लेकर वो क्लियरेंस देंगे या क्लियरिटी देंगे। मौजूदा कॉन्टेक्स्ट में और जो हालात है
बॉम्बे प्रेस को लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कीजिए तेज़ ताज़ा खबरों के लिए।